What's up? What it do, world? It's your girl, Ash Brown, and this is the Ash Brown Uncensored Show. On this program, I talk about random things. It could be something that happened this week to me. It could be something that you guys have sent me a question on. It could be any number of things, but it's going to be uncensored. You're going to get my real, true feelings, my true thoughts on it. And I'm going to do my best to do these live once a week. So, namely, Sundays are looking like they're going to be the best day for me to do these lives. I may do them at midnight. I may do them in the day like today. You just never know. So, I appreciate the love and support of this podcast because this was really started to, I guess, really bring back me having those not really dialogues, but monologues, really, of me just talking about how I feel about certain things and maybe what's going on in the world, maybe what's going on in my life. A lot of you know about me, a lot of you do not know about me. So, today's episode, they're big mad at my joy. They're big mad at my joy. On this Sunday, I had a lot of reflection this morning, and I wanted to share that with you guys. Okay. So, I've been in the entertainment world since I was 18. And I had gone to that infamous modeling school in Atlanta. Spent all my little $2,500. Yeah. Was like, yeah, we'll support you. We can't financially back it, but we'll support you. And I spent all my little savings that I had at that point. And I had like $2,500 in the bank, y'all. I was so proud of myself. I was like, oh, I'd saved up all this money. Girl, that wasn't nothing. And it was gone at the blink of an eye. And I would go on and get extra roles in different movies. I would intern on the set of certain movies. And I would go on to graduate from college, communications degree, work experience under my belt. I was a PA, an intern at a local radio station in Columbus, Georgia. And I was like, I'm going to come back to Atlanta. I'm going to conquer. I'm going to come back. I'm going to get it. They're going to be throwing jobs at me when I get back to the city. They just going to be just so overwhelmed and so impressed with my work ethic and what I've done. And that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. I got back to Atlanta, and Atlanta wasn't feeling your girl. A lot of the stations felt that I was coming from a small market. Columbus, Georgia is literally an hour, maybe an hour and a half from the city of Atlanta. But it is a smaller market. And there's a lot of stuff that's different. I'm not going to go through all the different politics of it, but there are a lot of things of how they work and how radio is done out there versus in the city of Atlanta. It's a lot of differences. And a lot of them just felt like I wasn't maybe cut out for it, And maybe at that point, maybe I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't. Who's to say that I was ready for that city? Because I know, and I still know a lot of people that are in the industry in Atlanta. And some of them stayed in radio. And a lot of them were like, this radio thing, it ain't all it's cracked up to be, Ash. It ain't all it's cracked up to be. So I would let her go on to work at an online station, and that was the best and worst decision that I had made. It was the best decision because it allowed me to branch out and try something different and learn some different things. But also it was the worst decision because I had basically crawled into the lion's pit and I was hanging out with a bunch of snakes. So while it was good for me to stretch my creativity, and I'm thankful for the opportunity, they took a lot of advantage of me. A lot. After I would leave them, I turned into a full-time caregiver. I was helping out with a lot of my family, and in that, nobody ever tells you or warns you or kind of gives you a heads up. I lost myself. I lost my identity. I lost who Ashley was. I lost who she was going to be and what she wanted to do and what she wanted to aspire to. The media thing, honestly, I put it up on the shelf. I said, I'm done with that stuff. I'm done with it. It doesn't excite me anymore. I'm finished. So I never in a million years thought that I would end up back in media again. I never in a million years. I just figured I would just get a regular job, a regular 9 to 5, call it a day. That was going to be it. So in 2011, my grandfather passed, and he just had a host of different issues and things going on, so it wasn't a surprise. But then I had my mom who was getting sicker. My baby sis was dealing with some challenges. And I remember looking in the mirror and being like, I don't even know who you are, chick. I don't even recognize you. I don't even know who you are. I don't recognize you. And I said, I got to do something about this. I don't know what, but I have to do something about this. So I dropped 97 pounds, which was not easy at all. And I joined the military. I joined the Army Reserve. And it was the craziest thing that I'd ever done. I remember my mom asking me, hey, is this really what you want to do? Are you sure you want to do this? And I said, yeah, I need to do something for myself. I need to do something for me. And I didn't tell her the other reason, and really the main reason that helped to push me through going to training, learning the terms, getting the terminology down, getting the knowledge down, was that she was struggling with her health insurance, and they had basically threatened multiple times to stop, stop her benefits. And in my mind, I was like, well, the Army has some of the best health benefits in the world. Once I get on with them, she is going to be my dependent. This is, another way for me to give back to her so much of the life that she poured into me. So I went off to training December 30th, 2013. And that was the craziest ride. It was the craziest ride to Jackson, South Carolina. And within hours, I'll never forget, I was in line getting my uniform. And I looked over and I saw a bin. And it was this bright-ass yellow bin. And it said, Brown, D. My mom's name is Donna Brown. And I think a part of me knew at that moment that was an indicator from God, from up above, that she had transitioned. And I remember just looking at that bin. It was this big-ass, giant, bright yellow bin. Like, I couldn't miss it, even if I tried. And within hours, they had notified me. And I remember scaling a wall. We were still doing drills and all that stuff outside. I remember scaling a wall, and I blacked out, and the next thing I knew, I was literally laying on my back on the ground, and the drill sergeants and everybody was like rushing to me and saying stuff to me and trying to get me to react or whatever, and I had fallen off of that wall, y'all. I remember getting to the top of the wall, but I don't remember falling. And that was the beginning of just a really rough time. really, really difficult, really, really rough time. Now, I'll talk about my process with the Army on another tidbit, because that within itself was something else. That was something else going on. But when I got back home and the dust had somewhat settled, and I had this chick in my life, which, everyone serves their purpose. She just kept pestering me about joining this Spreaker app. You gotta join Spreaker. And I was like, what the heck is Spreaker? What is that? What is that? Oh, you can make your own podcast, wherever you have your phone or your device, you can record podcasts. I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that podcasting thing. I think that's for somebody else. It's not for me. And she's like, no, you got to do it, And I get it. She was doing that from a good place, because I feel as though she knew that would be something to get my mind off of my grief. And so I was, honestly and truthfully, I was just like, let me just join this thing to get this girl to shut the hell up. Because I'm so tired of her talking about this damn Spreaker app. So I joined Spreaker. And I started to record shows. In the morning, first thing, before I went to go work out, after I went to go work out, whenever. No consistency whatsoever. No real theme or focus whatsoever. I'm just literally, these early shows, and I've not listened to them in years, probably since I uploaded them 7 years ago. I have not listened to these shows because they're probably really cringeworthy and probably pretty sad too. They're probably pretty sad, pretty cringeworthy. And it puts me more of the mind frame of where I was at that time. And yeah. So we fast forward. My show is, Spreaker sent me an email. They were like, hey, we're adding shows to iHeartRadio. Do you want your show to be added? I was like, my show doesn't even have a focus. Sure, add my show to your stream. They're going to overlook me. I was like, whatever, that's never going to happen. And a year passes, and I get an email from them stating, hey, your show is now on iHeartRadio. I was like, oh, snap. I gotta figure out how to do a real show, because now I'm searchable. Now people can actually find this show, and I gotta do better. I gotta do better. So I started to recruit a lot of the businesses that I knew locally here in Atlanta, and businesses and people that I had worked with before, and to just get their backstory, to get their origin story, how their business started, how did this event come to be, how did things come about for you. And 1,700 shows later, over 500,000 streams later, I'm still here. So when I get comments from people online or people in real life, I was like, oh, I hate your show is stupid, your show is this, your show is that. And I was like, you're so big mad. Well, why don't you even the playing field? Why don't you start a show? Why don't you start a show and see how easy it is to make a heavy hitting show, a show that people can connect with? Why don't you do that? You want to criticize me, but you have nothing to show. We've got the same 24 hours in a day. We've got the same amount of time. You could do a show that is probably 5, 10, 50 million times better than my show. Absolutely. Anyone can do what I do, but they can't do it the way that I do it. Anyone can start a show today. You can go on Spreaker today and start your own show perfectly. But you will never be able to duplicate the show that I do. The Ash Said It show has come such a long way. It has been therapeutic for me. It is like my child, essentially. This show pulled me out of the pits of hell. It literally gave me purpose again. To have people reach out to say, hey, your show, you sharing your story on your show, it really connected with me. It really made me feel like X, Y, and Z things. Thank you so much for talking about your story. Thank you so much for talking about this and talking about that. And that's why I still do the show. That's why. I'm not competing with nobody. I'm not trying to compare myself to nobody. Nothing like that. I had a person one time that was really close to me say something to me. They said something that really opened up my eyes to how they view the world, how they view me, and how we just think different. How we just think different. They turned to me, they was like, you know what, Ash? You could be the next Wendy Williams. You could be the next Wendy Williams, Ash. And I was like, it was cringeworthy because, number one, Wendy Williams is a genius in what she does. She's a genius. There is only one Wendy Williams, okay? And I am not trying to emulate or duplicate that at all. I'm trying to be Ash Brown. What's up? I'm trying to be Ash Said It. How you doing? You know? And I would never want to bite someone else's style because that's not me. I'm not someone else. I'm me. I'm the only me that there will be. And that's just it. So when people get big mad and they, well, how do you find joy in this world and all this negative stuff? Well, you done had this happen to you and you ain't had, how do you find joy, Ash? I find that you're fake, you're phony, you're not original, you're this, you're that. Well, while you're picking off all these things on what you think or who you think that I am, who are you to the world? What is your story? Because 9 times out of 10, you are deflecting. You're deflecting from yourself and your hurt and your pain. And because you've been through this and you've been through that and life is unfair. Life is unfair to everyone. It just depends on your perspective. Everyone goes through. It's just you don't hear all about it. You don't hear all about it. So when they stay big mad at my joy, let me tell you, this past week I did the Bert's Big Adventure noon to night fashion show, and I loved it. When I tell you, it just warmed my heart so much to do something for someone else. These kids, this Bert's Big Adventure, if you're not familiar, birdsbigadventure.org is an organization that is filled with so many just loving people that take kids with chronic and terminal illnesses to Disney World for a full week, all expenses paid, and they just get to enjoy being kids. Oh, it's hands down my favorite organization to help because it's always fun. It's never like, super formal or, you gotta, break out your white gloves, and it's always fun. And it broke my heart in 2019. No, 2019. Yeah, it was 2019 when they invited me to be a part of the show and I couldn't because I was in Vegas. Oh my gosh, that broke my heart. I was so sad. I was so very sad. So very sad about that. But this year, being able to do it, I was nervous as heck, y'all. It's just so much stuff has happened, and getting back to Georgia and figuring out this life thing, it's been crazy. It's been crazy. And I almost didn't go just because of my own insecurities. I almost told them, you know what, maybe I don't want to do this, but I'm so glad that I did. I'm so glad that I pushed myself, and it furthermore re-embedded to me what my mother and what my grandmother always taught me, and that's just to push through the pain, baby. If nothing else, they taught that with their example. They taught that with what they told us, and I'm so grateful that I went and did the show. I felt so good during. I felt so good afterwards. I met some of the kiddies. They were just so happy to be there. And this is their special night. So when you do these things for other people and you do it for people that can't necessarily pay you back or give you anything in the long run of it, you just keep going. You just keep going. So there's going to be people that's mad at your joy, and people ask, well, how do you smile? How do you find? I have to find the joy. If I sit and I harp on all the heartache and pain that I've been through and all the heartache and pain that's in the world, I wouldn't leave the house. There's no way I would ever leave my doorstep if I was to just harp on all the negative stuff. The negative stuff is there. It's going to happen. It's a part of it. But to find joy and to claim it, that's power. That's real power, y'all. So they big mad. Let them stay big mad. I really don't care. I'm to the point in life where 40's around the corner, and I really just don't care about what people have to say about me. I really don't. And I wish I would have come to this place sooner, but I understand also that nothing happens before it's time. So, like I said, I'm living my own doggone life. I am creating my destiny, and I'm so grateful to be able to do the things that I've done. And I know that a lot of it comes from my Donna Teresa, my Louise Christina, sprinkling down those blessings on me. And I couldn't be any more thankful for them because I had 19 amazing years with my grandmother, Louise. And that's my namesake. And I was blessed with 30 years with my mama. That's more than a lot of people. We're in 2021 and Black women are still dying during childbirth. It's still happening. So I can't be selfish and want her to be here. But I think about her every single day. This December will be 8 years she's been gone, and it still feels like the first day that she left. So, while they mad at my joy, you can stay mad. You can stay mad. Stay mad at my joy. Continue to be mad at my joy, because I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing me. That's it. Point blank, period. So, I thank you guys. I love you so very much. Keep pushing forward no matter what. Baby, when I tell you 2022 is going to be crazy, I got some things in the bag that you are not going to even believe that I am doing. Part of me doesn't even believe that I'm doing, but you know what? I've been blessed with it, and we're going to rock it out. We're going to rock it out. So thank you for the movement. Thank you for listening in today. And I will holler at y'all next week. Deuces.